Hello and a very good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Ystrad Mynach for the final match day of the Women's Six Nations Summer Series for 2025. 3 matches coming up today. The first between Ireland and Scotland, as both these sets of players take their last step on the under-20s pathway before senior rugby beckons next year. For one last time in this particular format, Ireland and Scotland represent their nations. Well, both nations and their fans have travelled in numbers again for this last match day round. And here are the representatives for both Scotland and Ireland. Starting with the Scottish, they have once again been captained by Poppy Fletcher in the front row. Megan Hyland and Ailey Fleming, familiar figures in that front row as well, though Hyland back in for a second start of this series. Aisha Zamir and Gemma Thompson are in the second row. The back row has Meryn Gunderson, Lily Crisp and Emily Kubra again going. Kubra at number 8. At 9, Emily Love comes in for Rihanna Durock, partnering Katie Ainsworth at 10. In the centres, Lucy McRae again, immaculate goal kicker last time out. She's partnering Nicole Flynn, who's captained the team this series as well. And the back 3 are lightning quick. In comes Freya McCall for a start after impressing off the bench to partner Emily Norville and Poppy Mellenby. Niamh Briggs' Irish 15 have 10 changes to the starting 15, which went last time out against France. Gráinne Burke comes in, Maeve Clenaghan comes in, Lily Morris comes in, all in the front row. Alma Atagarman retains her place at 4. Bailyn Gleeson starts at 5. Rosie Searle comes in at 6. Neil switches to 7. Jemima Adams-Verling again goes at 8. A big physical presence required from Adams-Verling today, you sense, for Ireland. May Goulding and Ellie O'Sullivan are the halfbacks. In the centres, Lucia Lynn and Clara Dunn go together. Then it's Emily Foley, Katie Corrigan and Lindsay Clark that make up the back three. Here are the replacements, and big roles expected from the likes of Katrina Finn for Ireland, Sophie Barrett as well off the bench, Holly McIntyre for Scotland, and Caris Craig, Louise Tapparell also opens for the first time to this summer series. So our referee today, Emily Hope, in the middle, gets us going. Summer school has 1 day remaining for these two nations, and Scotland and Ireland go to it for the last time in the Women's Six Nations Summer Series this year. Scotland's looking to run things from deep early on. They started far too slowly against Wales 6 days ago, and they were back behind the 8 ball after 20 minutes. A faster, more clinical beginning is the first order of the day for the Scots. And they're looking to control the ball despite being 10 metres away from their try line. Ireland's keen to impress in defence from the off. These 10 changes to this Irish team, and they are tucking into the blue jerseys right now, knocking them back almost to their try line. But there's good calmness to Scotland's play, despite it exactly where they are. One of their most willing runners last time out, Zamir, with that last carry. And the new scrum half as well, Emily Love, getting lots of time on the ball. And now on their try line, trying to play away. It's still the ambition. How is Scotland going to take on the next phase when they're already behind the try line? The answer is they will go nowhere. Ireland's brilliant in defence, oppressive, and this green machine of Ireland turns the ball over early on. And a very good afternoon to you, Amber Reid. It's great to have your company once again. How impressive was that from Ireland?
Yeah, super impressive, and they showed against France how ruthless their defence can be, put France under all sorts of pressure. Scotland have played well out of their 22 on a couple of occasions in the game so far, but I think an early settler, if you not find your way in 6 phases, you have to make your way downfield, and it's given Ireland the perfect opportunity to start fast and start early.
Can this Irish backline click into gear with the 5 changes, no less, that have been made to the backline alone? 5 to the pack. But they are bringing in the likes of Gráinne Burke in the front row. She has experienced plenty of it from last year's under-20s competition too. Coming in for Ella Burns and Lily Morris as well, in for Sophie Barrett. How is the platform for the new scrum half, May Goulding? Goulding is going to get it away. She'll have to go down the blind side, not quite where she wanted to go. Scottish back row swarming onto her. Atta Garman with another big carry. This is why she's one of the consistent selections, getting Ireland the go forward, and they're looking at the Scottish line and eyeing it up here. A metre away for Ireland to begin with a very fast start. They're over. Scotland concede early on. It's the captain of Ireland, Jane Neal, who has flown the flag from the very start of every match so far. And this time she starts with a 5-pointer of her own.
She's been superb every game so far, leading the charge both for attack and defence for her team. But this is all down to Ireland's defensive effort right from that kick-off. Kick long, put Scotland under pressure, be patient, and then they've been so clinical in all the games so far. That was the difference between them and Wales in the first game. They didn't get many chances against France, but when they did, they converted, and they've started off in the same vein here against Scotland.
Ellie O'Sullivan-Sexton, the starting 10 today. Plenty of time on the field, but off the bench so far in the competition as a starter. She knocks the points over as well. Good start from O'Sullivan-Sexton. So the shuffling cards of Ireland have yielded points early on. Scotland again slow to get out of the blocks. But as long as they don't start as slowly as they did last time against Wales, Amber, and can see try after try and compound things, then that'll be a couple of steps forward in the right direction.
They've proved that they can go toe-to-toe with another team through patches of the game, but like you say, in that Wales game, Wales started so quickly and they got off to such a lead that Scotland just couldn't catch up. But that is an absolutely fantastic kickoff. Like, you're either looking to compete and change possession, or you're looking to find ground and force the team to make an error, and it's a great opportunity now for Scotland, like you say, to stem that tide and go back at them.
This is the kind of field position that Emily Love will prefer, rather than on her own try line trying to play things out. She's got this inviting position right into the hands of McRae. McRae then slips it to Flynn, and they're nicely set up here, Scotland, to go either left or right. Love does go to the forwards, and good clear out as well. They're well organised with the forward pack here. Then the hands are good, passing on from Kubera to Fleming. And they'll work the short side again. Ainsworth likes to go off and create short side chaos for Ireland, and that might have worked out. Emily Norval unable to claim that one on the edge. But when she gets the ball, she's lightning as well. There's a lot of talent in this Scottish backline.
Yeah, Katie Ainsworth also has impressed me in a couple of games so far. Really takes it to the line, looks to attack. And Poppy Mellenby was my pick of the Scots from round 2.
Might have been pick of the player of the whole round, Poppy Mellenby, such was that performance. Ireland get going, and it's a good defensive line out.
That's down by Green, play the ball.
And then they'll set this up. First phase to use the inside centre. Lucia Lynn. Atagarman. And just going left and right and making yards each time, this Irish forward pack.
Back. Hold now. Step blue.
No real challenge from Scotland on the floor. So it's easy meters really for the Irish, and O'Sullivan Sexton clears. Bounces back. Might have been interesting for the chasers. Instead, Scotland do have it. But those Irish numbers pouring forward and turning it over. Great work on the floor. At the collision, it is Ireland at the moment who are ruling the roost. Hands almost were away from Gráinne Burke. O'Sullivan Sexton tight to the line, isn't she? And then slipping that into Lynn's hands. Atagarman is going to be asked to go again. Barely time to settle before she's called to run it up again. Atagarman. And a forward pass off the back of that, but good scavenging from the Irish initially.
Yeah, really good scavenging. We know they've got a really good kicking game. Scotland have to challenge and not give Ireland an easy exit out of their 22, otherwise they'll gain easy meters. They've got long distance kickers in their back line and make it hard for them. But Ireland's breakdown is really sloppy at the moment. A couple of times they only had one over. Their clearers are coming past too early, coming high, which is leaving the ball exposed. And if Scotland spot that, they have to get in and have to really disrupt this Irish attack. They've shown how good they are on transition, and there's so many opportunities out there if they can spot that breakdown sloppiness from Ireland.
Scottish scrum is very solid, as it has been across most of the 2 games so far. Into the hands again of Flynn. She picks up and goes again. Extra few meters from Nicole Flynn. Love, Ainsworth. Hard carry from Kubera. Ainsworth. Flattish Irish line that she's trying to undo, and it won't happen on that phase. Ainsworth again. Does like it when players come up quickly on her and she can use her feet to slip round them, or hands to get around them as well. Good hands here from the Scots. But at that point it goes to the floor. Ireland ball. Neal. O'Sullivan Sexton digs this over nicely. It's almost within the reach of the right winger Corrigan.
Really like that option. You can see the Scots are defending really deep in that backfield, and there's that little bit of space between their front line of defence and the back. So unlucky not to get our hands on it. But again, Ireland just mixing up their play, being patient in defence, waiting for their opportunity. The Scots just need to get either on Katie Ainsworth's shoulder, or she needs to give the ball a little bit earlier and just allow her pod to really get stuck into this Irish defence.
So Love gets set. She's replacing Rihanna Darroch today, who's out injured for this final match. And the Scottish scrum on the rocks. Early on, the Irish turn the tables at the set piece.
It's probably the first time that we've really seen that Scottish set piece under pressure at the scrum. I think they've been fantastic throughout, whatever combination they've put in.
A couple of feathers in the cap for Burke, Clenihan and Morris here, the front row for Ireland.
Edge. Yeah, we're outside the 22. We're outside the 22.
So Clenihan with Atagarman at the front, Neil at the back. And it goes well over here. And the kick out of hand from Highlands could have been better. So Ireland will get this back. And Atagarman reloads. Already getting through 5 or 6 carries so far in the match. Lynn spreading the play. Bringing in the fullback Lindsay Clark. Atagarman to Neil, very close to being forward that one, but they ride their luck, the Irish. Look at the way they reset here. The precision is notable from Ireland as this set goes on. Great angle here from Clenihan, really nice from the hooker. Goulding, switch of play from O'Sullivan Sexton. Lily Morris. Now that clear out is much better. And Lynn sees a gap, charges hard, the inside centre. Has to be lifted off the floor by Burke. Helping out is Corrigan. Neil gets the offload away, brilliant from the open side. Wherever she pops up, she makes an impact. Jane Neal, and they're close to the corner here, the Irish. Penalty coming, and reward for some creativity and organisation across the board.
Yeah, wonderful bit of build-up play. What I really like is the backs working really hard to create those extra numbers, especially Lynn and Dunn in the midfield. They're not leaving O'Sullivan Sexton on her own. They're sharing that workload, working really hard, and then just sitting in behind their forward pod, who are hitting some wonderful short lines and just gaining that bit of momentum. It makes it so much easier to play. And that offload from Jane Neal, we've spoken about how good she's been so far. A lovely piece of skill there from the open side.
She's wearing the third different number across her 3 starts. Started in the second row, then she was back row, now open side, and Ireland are moving again with Neil at the heart of things. Advantage as well to the Irish. Lynn close to the gain line. She's rocketed forward here, but a knock on cord in the act. So back we go again. Ireland applying the same kind of pressure that Wales did on Scotland last week. Can the Scots withstand? It is a much cooler temperature today, we should say. Those of you that watched our coverage over the last 2 rounds will have been struck by how hot it looked on screen. It was pulsatingly hot at times. So hard to play in, and it is much cooler today. Still quite close though. Atagarman, and she's over. No one can stop her from there. The short line out pays off beautifully, and one of Ireland's most willing runners, ball in hand, has no one in her way from 5 metres.
It's always great when a training part move comes off. definitely one for the forwards, but the calling, we've seen lots of mauls, we've seen the success of the Irish maul, and here just mixing up those options. No one defending Atta Garman at the front, who started on the bench in the first game. I thought she carried so well for her team in round 2, and we've seen more of the same, but you see the Scottish front pod just watching the movement of the Irish. Jane Neal going to the back, who's been a target for them in the line-out. So fantastic bit of play and variety by the Irish pack.
How good is that from O'Sullivan Sexton from out wide? She nails the conversion. Ireland bank all 7 out of both of their efforts, and they lead the Scots 14 points to nil after 15 minutes.
Some of the kicking we've seen this series off the tee has been phenomenal. Lots of kicks going in out wide, high success rate across all teams.
Actually, these two teams may be with the 2 most prolific goal kickers so far. Sullivan Sexton yet to miss. And also, Scotland's Lucy McRae was brilliant last week, kicking 4 from 4 for her. But right now, it's the physical challenge and the precision of the Irish that the Scots are struggling to deal with. Atta Garman at it again. Good turnover, though, for Scotland. Any foothold into this contest must be grasped onto and clung to with for dear life, because they just can't afford to be as down against Wales as they were. 28-8 down at half-time against Wales, remember. So they've got to play from earlier on, because when they can, they look such a good team. Ainsworth brings in the blind side. Gunderson.
Nothing's coming, we'll bring it back. 8.
Emily Hope wants us to come all the way back. Tap and go from Love. Little change of direction from the scrum half. That was nicely done. Ainsworth there to help her out. Zamir, good reach from the lock forward, and nice pass as well. Now the Scots are causing problems here. Nice run from Thompson, who's in the side for Charlotte Russell today.
No, don't hold her in. Don't hold her in.
Ainsworth, square across, almost a hint of an interception. Possibility, but a knock-on from Ireland.
That's a little bit of patience that's going to allow Scotland to take it to the next level. They've showed that they can attack. They've showed what dangerous threats they have in that back 3. But sometimes they just try and offload one too many, and that little bit of momentum ends up them being again on the back foot. Prime example there. Great turnover, good transition, offload to 4. They've still got the ball, but now Ireland have a chance to reset. They're doing some good things, but they need to back it up with more moments.
Scotland again with a scrum in a useful position. This they bring it over to the left-hand side with McRae. Good pass from McRae to McCall. Knows how to find her way to the try line. 2 tries off the bench last week against Wales. Kubra. Love. Ainsworth. Nice pull out the back to bring it into Flynn's grasp. Emily Norville gets the ball on the edge. Nothing she could do even from that position though. Ball was just caught though, lined up well by the Irish. They do well to move this along the line. Mellenby, now she'll spot a gap. Poppy Mellenby. Love loses her feet and deemed to be playing the 9, says Emily Hope.
That's a really smart bit of play by Emily Love. She probably could have got that ball away, but just make sure that she buys that penalty for her team.
Gunderson. Mellenby. She sees a gap and she's free once more. Mellenby draws McCall, who takes it into the 22. First sharpening of her tools today, Poppy Mellenby. Lovely hands right close to the gain line. Slipped on by Kubra. And Scotland with menace in their veins at the moment, and the next break is made, then the next run. Powerful carry from Flynn, Scotland knocking on the door for the first time this afternoon. And then short to the line, and Atagarman has got her hands in there and slowed it down, closing it down. But Scotland with a penalty. Love. Highland. Slip pass to Crisp. Slow for the Scottish back row, so it's gone out to the backs, and here is McCall. She's going to get in the corner after Mellenby and McCall, and they combine to score points this time. First start in the summer series for Freya McCall, but it's the same old story. She's over the whitewash.
Much more patient build-up play by Scotland. Show a slightly different picture going out the back. Mellenby with a lovely set of hands. Looked like she was going to stop player and ball, but Freya McCall in over at the corner. She still had a bit of work to do, but it's a really composed finish just to know where that try line is and dot the ball down. Mellenby just does enough to hold Corrigan. That's a wonderful finish.
Lucy McRae has gone from distance again. Both goal kickers today with the very best of themselves from the tee, and McRae knocks it over again. So Scotland injecting life into their performance from much earlier now, and loosening those creative strings, and McCall crossing. O'Sullivan Sexton puts this long, and this is put down, unfortunately, for Emily Kubra. Those ones live rent-free in your head for a while, I imagine, Amber Reid.
Yeah, and especially when you've just scored as well, you want to get your team back on the front foot. You want a really nice, clean exit, move your team back up the park, and it's just the one that rolls down your front. But again, the biggest thing is now get that out of your mind, reset. You've got a really important job to do at the scrum.
And it is a good position this for Ireland, with only Foley on the left-hand wing in shots. All the backs outside her, but the Scottish 8 have done their part here. Adams Verling does get it away well to Lynn, so they can start something from here, the Irish. They go to the corner here for Corrigan, who doesn't quite grab it out of the air, but was close again. That axis from O'Sullivan Sexton to Corrigan has almost worked twice now.
How Scotland done their homework. Ireland had a try last week with the crossfield kick. Freya McCall just stood in that backfield, putting enough pressure on. But again, the Irish historically have such good aerial skills from a Gaelic background in terms of growing up. But against any Irish side I played, we knew that we had to compete in the air. We knew we had to get off the floor because they are so good at it. So again, it's an area where Corrigan's been close twice. If they do need to slightly change the picture, you can send it high on top of McCall and ask Corrigan to get after it, and there's going to be a good battle there if they do.
Size advantage with Corrigan in that particular matchup against McCall, no doubt about it. McCall's obviously made her advantage pay so far with her feet on the edge and her ability to get around the outside. Scotland tap and go. and from deep, and this is ambitious, and Ainsworth keeps her feet for as long as she can. But when you've got Jane Neal hanging onto your bootstraps, that's not easy. Poppy Fletcher. Little dink here. This could end up in the hands of Scotland again. Kept in well by McColl. Very cheeky. Goes to the floor here. Zamir in a real wrestle for the ball.
No ball is there. You've held him in.
Neal. Tackled well. Atagarman always needs to be tackled well. The offload was good. David Gleeson up in support. Now there's a chance here for the Irish as they work this along the line. Into the corner they go, and skating home to score that one. And dotting it down, Emily Foley gets Ireland's third of the match already. Foley in the starters for the first time, and she races home, doing her job to perfection on the left wing.
Yeah, it was a great finish, but this little link-up play just here. Atagarman's such a powerful runner, you have to go low on her, but if you don't make a dominant hit and rock her, she has the ability to get out that offload away. Out the back door with the left hand, just allows Ireland to have a quick breakdown. And if you get a quick breakdown in the middle, you beat that Scottish defence around the corner, you have more attackers, and Foley does well to go and finish, but that is a fantastic team try by Ireland.
O'Sullivan Sexton has 2 from 2 so far. And that is not far away at all, is it? Just under the crossbar.
Lovely quick hands to get that ball to the edge, but if you've got a player like Atagarman, you have to send one player low because you have to take her legs out and not let her continue to get that momentum, but you almost have to sacrifice that second defender to stop her offload. At the moment it's just way too easy for the Irish.
Foley returns the ball.
Roll 7
Makes
step
a
now.
good number of yards as well after contact. Neal likewise. Support is there as well on the floor, and Ireland's really well organised in this opening half an hour. Despite the 10 changes that they've made, Clenaghan through and then looking for that offload, which might well have seen Katie Corrigan racing away. Instead, it's a Scottish ball. Ainsworth makes it to touch, and there's a healthy tailwind for the Scottish kickers today in this first half. They do have it at their backs at the moment. Highland goes to the middle. Zamir takes it, and this is nicely done from the Scots. Great line cut as well. McRae was through, but a penalty to Ireland.
I think that's Lucy McRae potentially offside, so both teams that are line out have to be back 10 metres, whether you're in attack or defence, and McRae's just gone a little bit early through the 10-metre mark. It is a fantastic line attacking that seam, but she's just not quite got her timing right, and the ball's still being in that line out when she's looked to start her run.
Must be it is such a fine line, of course, Amber. That skill is so important, though, being the right side of that fine margin.
Yeah, being the right side, knowing the laws of the game, reading the referee. They put their hands up if the ball's still in. When they bring it down, you can then advance forward. But you don't often see it get called. You can flirt with the line a little bit.
O'Sullivan Sexton. Adams Verling. And she's seeing much more of the pill so far today. She was missed out a bit in their last match. Ireland having won player of the match in the first victory over Wales. She's seeing much more of the ball now. That's good news for the Irish. Scotland, though, turning it over here and playing nicely from it. Crisp with that last carry. Love's got to get this away. She does. Ainsworth, Mellenby. Lovely pass now. McRae is free and she's allowed to play this time. Keeps it alive. Fletcher on the charge. Captain in good support. Zamir suddenly finds 5 Irish players and no Scots around to help.
Always under pressure, we'll bring it back. 10.
But they were all offside, Ireland, and that did feel a little too good to be true, to have them got back after that break to then be up that quickly. They were illegally so.
You speak so often about being in your phase shape and everyone being set, but there is a time and a place for being in the moment on a rugby pitch, and the Scottish players are doing that so well. So as soon as someone takes the line or does something to find a gap, everyone floods through. McRae hits a fantastic line, then Fletcher comes through, looks after the ball, and that's what Scotland are doing really well at the moment. They just have that continuity of play, but they're attacking. When someone takes a space, they're all then flooding to find that support.
Another good line out, and Gunderson peels it away. McRae's got this one just right and breaks the line. Not cleanly through, but yards made.
Wait!
Ainsworth. Kubra. Nice pass to Fleming. Ireland looking to slow things down on the floor, but it's still fast enough for Scotland, and if that had gone to hands, Emily Norval would have been flying home, no doubt about that. Scotland goes so close again.
Gone backwards into touch, it will take the line now.
They're knocking on this Irish door and it's just not quite sticking at the moment, but they need to take
Your mark's
something from
just
this bit of
inside the
play. Like, they're
22.
starting to build themselves into the game, they're creating these opportunities, and then it will come for them. They just need to keep hammering that door, putting the Irish under pressure.
Timing. Maul!
Secure. Across the board, across the rounds, we are seeing teams get so much tighter at a set piece and more reliable.
Release!
Across these 3 games, the improvement has been very noticeable.
No, ball is there. No, leave it now.
Lynn to Neil.
Still lots of opportunities at this breakdown. You see the 2 clearers there, they're really high in their body shape, hips are out, they're not in together.
Sullivan Sexton, her kick caught by Mellenby, and this rings a danger for the Irish. McCall chips after her own kick. She's watched by O'Sullivan Sexton. Back comes Foley. McCall has got Foley to the floor though, and now Flynn comes through to try and spoil. If the Scottish could get this back,
Wait.
reinforcements were there to pass it on to, but Ireland have done some sterling work. And O'Sullivan Sexton particularly, not to lose
step
sight
now,
of
13,
where
take a
McCall
step.
was going with that.
Thank you. I need someone with me. Use
Danger
it.
of Poppy Mellenby
Behind the
underlined
kick.
another time. She's going to get a chance here from 35 metres out. Neil, though, is the one to ransack her. Katie Ainsworth draws and gives nicely. Ball goes to the floor. When Ireland get a chance to put you on the floor, they don't miss it.
No, they don't. They're there in numbers. They're very physical. See Neil there, making sure Poppy Mellenby doesn't go anywhere. But this option for the kick over the top by McCall was lovely. Lovely weighted kick.
Pardon?
But you don't want to kick loosely to Mellenby because she's shown the skill set that she's got, and then just someone needs to attack back at this ball from this Scotland side, especially in that transition. If you keep going laterally, you make yourself a target for that defence, and Ireland's defence is probably one of the best in this tournament, so you need to make sure you're attacking them, put them under pressure, you're in the driving seat.
Good news for Scotland, though, is this is the side, this is the form we saw from them in the second half against Wales.
Set. Hold. Not past the tunnel.
Good scrum as well, but Ireland's have it, and O'Sullivan Sexton has spotted some space down here, and she makes sure that doesn't go too close to Mellenby this time.
Yeah, that's a very good kick.
Blue 1 and 9. And 9.
Just using that natural angle for the right footer, and you can see she changes the trajectory of her kick. The last couple have gone high to allow Mellenby to get underneath and attack. That time she just drops it lower. It means the ball rolls across the turf a bit more rather than pop up, and then she gets that roll into touch. Really good kick, moving the game down the field.
Thank you.
So Louise Tapparell is on in the 17 shirt for her first involvement in this summer series. Scotland's line-out goes awry. And Ireland with another chance here. If this goes to hands, and it does, to Corrigan. Neil, Zamir coming up well to make the tackle on Ireland's captain. O'Sullivan Sexton. The pod alignment perfect from the Irish. And then coming round quickly was Morris. Lynn.
It's gone now, 12, thanks.
O'Sullivan Sexton almost timing that to bring in Lindsay Clark.
Okay, we've got a forward pass, but we'll take the knock on. Five minutes left, guys.
Looks like quite a common phase play shape for Ireland, so they use their pods off the edge in the middle, and then their backs look to sweep round. One person sending them short if it's that loose forward out there on the edge, or another back, and then someone else, generally a midfielder, so Dunn and Lynn sweeping round to offer that backward option just away from the line. And Scotland are really patient there, read it well and just pressure the skill set of the pass. But really common phase play shape for Ireland, looking to play flat or go around and get the ball in their wingers' hands.
So Ireland's number 8, Jemima Adams-Verling, is receiving some treatment, which gives both sets of players a break. And a welcome one would imagine. Last week there were enforced breaks for heat every 20 minutes, but we're not at those levels today. Nonetheless, it's humid today in Ystrad Mynach,
We'll have a look.
in the Rhymney Valley in South Wales, and
I see what you're saying.
the sun is starting to come through the clouds as well.
All okay?
I was hearing
Water
that
off, please.
Scotland in those first 20 minutes were really struggling from the sun, from the heat last week. It really did affect them, and may well have been, certainly would have played its part in starting slowly against Wales.
It really does sap your energy, especially the first part of the game is generally the hardest as well, because you're having to find your way in. You don't always start at that 100%. You need to try and get there as quickly as you can, and that heat just makes it a whole different ball game. It really saps your energy, and especially when the game starts so fast, like it's so hard to get in, and Wales just dealt with it a little bit better on the day.
Is it impossible to start a match at 100%? It always will take a few minutes, no matter the occasion.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a bit of nervous energy.
Set.
Obviously, you've just had that little break. You've had anthems as well, which extends that period between then and warm-up. But you want to find it as soon as you can.
Scotland looking to go wide again, but Ireland have their number on that occasion. So Rebecca Douglas on at scrum half for the Scots.
Release and back up.
Picked up again by Kubra. Smart work from the 8.
Take him back.
Ainsworth. A couple of steps forward, and there's an awful lot of distance in Katie Ainsworth kicking, more than it looks like she's going to affect on the ball. Hits that longer than Clark was banking on. Neal. Bit of space here for Jane Neal. Didn't quite work the arms free. O'Sullivan Sexton. Foley coming in to make the extra player.
Step.
May Goulding arrives, gets the pass away at a Garmin. This time not the carrier. And Adams-Verling ships this on, risking it a little bit, the Irish, without quite having earned the right on that occasion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The Irish pods aren't quite getting the same momentum they did in the first period of this game, and the backs are still trying to play wide off it or play the ball out the back of that middle pod, and the Scottish defence, Lucy McRae coming up in the island there, forcing the error. So the Irish have to be careful. They can't just play exactly the same the whole game. They have to be reading those pictures. They have to get a feel for what's happening in the collision. But really well defended by the Scottish.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
So all 6 of the Irish backs behind the scrum are lined up on the open side. Foley has come across and she'll be the strike runner here if O'Sullivan Sexton can get to her. May Goulding has a go herself. Scotland on the floor have stolen this though. It's Crisp who's done it. And the open side does her job. And a good time to do it as well.
Never onside. 12.
These 2 turnovers starting to rack up now for the Irish. Chris doing a great job, but the speed of Katie Ainsworth to roll away allows Chris that opportunity to get the ball, and now they can start to build. They've been in this Irish half for quite a while now, so it will start to build the pressure. The Irish will start to feel that. Can they get a crucial score just before half-time?
Timing.
It would do such a power of good for the Scots if they did get something here. But that's set piece doesn't go to plan. Doesn't matter. Gunderson. Good pass along the line. This
15,
is
stop!
clipped over. Flynn
Now.
has hit this far too far for her chasers.
Option.
And Norville can't do anything but see it roll out.
Scrum. You're on the mark, Josh. Thank you.
For me, that didn't need to be kicked away by Flynn there. She's shown how powerful a carrier she is. If she feels like there's no option, just put your head down and go. She's made a couple of line breaks, half breaks so far.
Don't chase your feet.
I think just keep ball in hand on that occasion and allow your team a bit more possession in and around that Irish 22.
Maybe for the last time in the first half, a chance for the Irish. Our clock is in the red. It's not synced exactly with the referees. This may well be the last play of the first 40. Finn. O'Sullivan Sexton has hit that straight into touch, out on the full. But that calls a halt to proceedings nonetheless. So Ireland hold on to this impressive lead over the first 40 minutes, 3 tries to 1. They have been increasingly precise, and it's one of their best 40 minutes of the whole summer series. They lead Scotland 19 points to 7, and there's a lot left to burn in this second half. It's going to be an exciting one. But the Irish starting in typically fast fashion, and typically Jane Neal to the fore, taking the ball close to the line and dotting it down. The captain and open side today. And this was less a line-out play, more a magic trick from the Irish. Atagarman unnoticed at the front and just sneaking in from 5 metres out. The Scots getting it on the act though, and going right to the edge where Freya McColl scored a 3rd try of her summer series.
It was a lovely offload through the middle, and then the Irish backs linking well together again, and Foley goes over on the outside, just making the most of that quick ball, beating the fold of the Scottish players round the corner. And a lovely finish out on the edge.
So that's how the first half played out. Ireland leading it at the end of 40 minutes, 19 points to 7.
sure I put it on to yeah, it's on manual. you up that ambulance. Cool.
Ireland head back out onto the pitch with their 19-7 lead over Scotland. 40 minutes remaining of their season, of their under-20s pathway for many of these players. Some will be returning for plenty more campaigns, but for many they'll be moving on to the senior game after this. And a chance to impress individually, but more than that, the collective with a chance to end with 2 victories from their 3 matches. And for Scotland, they haven't yet won on the Under-20 Summer Series. Last year they lost all 3 matches. They've lost both their 2 matches so far this year. And it's not about results so much, it's more about the development of the players individually, of course. But nonetheless, they'll want to end on a collective high. No matter how well they've played, they haven't got over the line against anyone yet. Katie Ainsworth and her crew have to change quite dramatically the momentum in this match and have to sustain it, most importantly, over 40 minutes. Signs were that they were in the ascendancy towards the end of the first half, however, but they can't afford to start slowly, as they have done at the start of this half, at the start of the last match. They need to hit the ground at 100 miles an hour.
Ball's there.
Ireland secure. And Neil with a big run up and charging into the fray once more. O'Sullivan Sexton, good pass. Bringing into proceedings Clara Dunn.
Step, no, it's still in. Take a step, you're offside. Behind the ball.
Well, something we've seen so rarely in this summer series is a box kick from a caterpillar setup, but Ireland do take that option here.
Retreat, blue!
Mellenby right off the side of her boot, so we'll come all the way back. A mistake, a rare one from Scotland's fullback. Ireland with a good exit, and they're going to have the line out from here. Not quite from that position. That would have been going somewhere.
The Irish do have a good kicking game, obviously coached by Niamh Briggs, who was a fantastic player. The art of the spiral, I think, was one of her strengths playing against her. So yeah, the Irish do have a good kicking game, and they do have the wind, so I'd expect to see it more in this second half.
Not straight.
And that wind does cause a problem for Ireland right from the start.
Option. Scrum.
Scotland putting up Aisha Zamir to give Ireland an obstacle to have to get over here, and it was enough.
Just watch out for me, I just want to. Thank you. Crouch! Bind! Early.
Free kick to Scotland. Rebecca Douglas goes and takes it quickly. Ainsworth right on the same page, but it was down to her feet, and the bobble did for her.
Of course, yeah, I just need you to not, yeah, I think they're on the mark. You've chased your feet, just hold it, please. Crouch! Bind! Set! Hold now!
Goulding down to the shins of O'Sullivan Sexton, and neither number 10 getting the service they want right now.
This second half's there for the taking. I think in terms of momentum, Scotland, like you say, probably finished the stronger of the two sides, but neither team's really got a foothold in this first opening couple of minutes of the second half, and Scotland have shown, although they've been not won a game yet, they can score, and they can score quickly. The Welsh went off to a flying start, but the Scottish came back at them, so they have got that in the locker, and they need something now.
Bind! Set! Stay high, one!
Douglas can calmly pick, and now places a perfect pass to Ainsworth. Mellenby dinks this over the top. It's going to hit the turf, and that allows Flynn to get on the ball. And they roll the dice there, Scotland, and it works out very nicely indeed.
Stay
But it's handling errors that are having the most influence on the match at the moment.
Do you not love them?
You spoke about the heat in the first half and how hard that is to then get yourself into a game, and handling errors are the same thing. When you don't feel like you can build anything in your team, that's when that frustration comes. You try a little bit harder, and again that compounds the errors. So both teams just need to take a breath, need to settle, give themselves a bit more depth and start to build their attack, get some phases together.
Adams-Verling picks to the blind side. Here is Robin O'Connor, fresh on the park at half-time, and she gives chase. Mellenby scuttles across, has to dive on it, and it goes out for an Irish throw-in. Good result in the end. Might have been worse though for Scotland. What could Poppy Mellenby do?
7, it's forward, 7. Line out.
Lovely kick by May Goulding, just finding that space. In terms of where the scrum is, Mellenby has to go at the other side of the scrum, because that's where all the Irish players are stacked, and it leaves this short blind side that was at the top of your screen, so it's unlikely that Ireland go down there. But Mellenby has to go to the other side, which is why that space is available. So really smart play by May Goulding there. Maeve
Clenaghan keeps it simple and goes to the front. And Ireland set up this rolling maul, and they're cohesively moving forward. Scotland's not yet getting to grips with this. Ireland could go the whole 9 yards here, picking away off the base of it, and that was Sophie Barrett. Useful person to bring on after 40 minutes. This is going all the way across. It'll bounce, and McCall did really well not to let that go and bounce away from her. But Scotland are going to lose a player.
17 collapsed.
Collapsing them all. And that is Louise Tapperell, who's the guilty party here on the floor. We can see
17.
It was really moving.
It's probably the most organised they've looked. They've shown it's a weapon in previous games, but haven't had much of an opportunity to get a rumble on, and they definitely did there, and it is so hard to stop.
Take a step, 18. Thank you.
So Scotland down to 14, underpowered now if it comes to a rolling maul, and the Irish go exactly to that, and the weakness is exposed, and the try scored. Ireland's Sophie Barrett off the bench into the maul and over the line.
Just see Scotland going up there to compete, but that close to your line, you need to make that decision. Like, you have to get up quickly in the air and compete. If not, you're then out of place to defend that maul, because your jumper's still in the air, your lifters aren't then being able to hit the Irish coming at you. So interesting decision from Scotland there. They need to get up faster if they're going to defend in the air, or they need to keep their feet on the ground and just hit that Irish maul and try and stunt its momentum. But again, really smart play by Ireland. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They've already got a maul penalty. Go again, and it works really well for them.
That's another stunner from Ellie O'Sullivan-Sexton. She is 3 from 4 from the tee now, and 3 of those verging on the touchline, if not the 5 metre line. It's happened a few times in this match from the restart. The ball put down, a chance handed immediately back to the opposition.
Well, I'll make the mark a bit longer. There we go. Okay, yeah. Time off. Sorry? Because the sim bin is a front row, find a replacement that would be in the front row.
Sophie Barrett.
So we just need to fix up this Scotland pack here. they need to have 3 front rowers on the pitch to compete at this
Blue
scrum, and
15.
the yellow card
15.
with Louise Tapperell off the pitch. And they're taking off Poppy Mellenby.
That's your mark.
The captain comes back on, but at the expense of their
on.
fullback Poppy Mellenby.
We're outside the 22. Crouch!
So without Mellenby for this attack, the Scots,
Set!
that's
Hold!
one less threat to worry about for the Irish.
Come up. We're just down on this side. I'm going to come across, Josh. Okay. Let's get our feet underneath us, get a better bind.
And at this kind of position, what often do you want to do? What's your inclination as an inside centre for a play like this?
Even with the player down, the Irish have to defend the near side of your screen, so they almost lose a player, so then you're back to evens. You probably want to use everyone to attack this side, but I'd want someone from Scotland on this touchline.
Scotland are quite close to each other, bunched here, but the chip goes through. O'Sullivan Sexton's got a foot to it and gets a second. And Scotland have to go back and start from 30 metres behind where this scrum was. Douglas. There is space there. Ireland a little disorganised on that right-hand side, but the knock-on comes, and that has really all imploded for Scotland.
Yeah, they're looking to find that space in the backfield, but because they've lost someone in their back 3, they then had the double stack of the blindside winger and then someone in that 15 position, so Flynn was standing tight, but there was no one in the final top part of your screen in that 20 metres of space, so Scotland aren't challenging that width for the Irish defence. It meant Ireland can come up and press really hard in that middle to close down the kick because there's no one they have to worry about out wide.
Crouch! Bind!
Conversely, from this scrum, Ireland setting up very wide indeed. Full width of the pitch is going to be used here. Scotland may well be stretched. O'Sullivan Sexton starts the ball rolling, and then the wraparound, and it's greatly done with Robin O'Connor, and she's racing away. One player to beat. She'll cut in, keeps her feet well. She's hauled down 5 metres short from the line. Ireland pouring forward, and Scotland back and on red alert here. The Irish pick and go.
Hands up, 8 hands up.
And one more drive from the right player close to the line will do this.
Ripped in the tackle.
Ripped by Scotland though. Goulding isn't going to get this back. Scotland have done well. They've done brilliantly well, in fact.
1. Playing the ball on the floor.
Ainsworth to touch. How did they smuggle this back?
First off, this is exactly what you want to do from an Irish perspective. Robin O'Connor is quick. Give her the ball early in space and allow her to take off. Use the advantage of that extra number.
5.
The Scottish scramble really well to get back. Jane Neal just gets stopped short to add on to her first half try.
Well done, Lee. Thank you. Don't come in.
Yeah, still not quite sure how they got that one back.
Line up.
Scottish line out, but it was
Use that mark,
not to
please.
the right target. Little overstretching, asking too much of the jumper, so Irish ball now.
Take a step. Step in the middle.
And that first
Yeah,
score
thank
of
you,
this
Warren.
half by Ireland was a punch to the solar plexus of Scotland's hopes here. They've got to put up the
Stay more.
shield here
No, 21
and
out.
defend their line and stop points being added to the Irish tally. Sullivan Sexton and Lucia Lynn.
19, no.
Katrina Finn is on the park now. Jane Neal taken down.
Okay. We've got one and then the other. We'll take the first.
Well, all the pressure points are being pressed on Scotland at the moment. They are just about holding.
I think it's not going to get any easier now. Katrina Finn's just entered the field. And O'Sullivan Sexton's still on the park as well, so that's two of Irish playmakers who have played in rounds 1 and 2. Both pulling the strings. I thought fantastic in the last game. Had a real variety to her play. She's going to slot into that number 12 jersey, so it's not going to get any easier for this Scottish side now.
Bind!
Question marks for Scottish defenders over who this is going to go to. First off, then there's the blind side as well. It is going to be Katrina Finn, and she just draws in Scottish defenders. Lynn was the option there. And Goulding gets it going along the line. Now it's O'Connor, she's powerful. Looked for support on the inside. And it's a yellow card. So Scotland go down to 13 now.
13, deliberate knock on.
And that was
there's cover.
Nicole Flynn who knocks this to the floor.
It's the right decision, but a real difficult one. She's stuck in that attempted tackle area, but she just puts that hand out, which means that close to the line it's always going to be a yellow card. At
the front go the Irish, and they burrow their heads in.
That's down by Green. Take a step.
Goulding lifts it off. That's Finn. Drives well the replacement centre, and then the Adams-Verling carriage is the next one to head for the line.
Blue step.
Close they go again, Ireland. They'll get this one, and Scottish thread starting to fray now as the Irish crash over once more.
And it's just that sustained pressure. Just getting lower than that Scottish defence who are set, winning that race to the try line. Neil's a tall player, but just her body angle here, she does so well to get low. And the latch as well, just adds that extra little bit of weight. O'Flynn on her shoulder. I think it's a tough mountain to climb now for the Scots.
O'Sullivan Sexton on target, as you would expect from that kind of range. The most straightforward of the kicks she's had this afternoon. So she slots it right through. I mean, what a kicking performance from Ireland's number 10 so far today.
Yeah, and like you say, she hasn't had easy kicks. She's had maul tries, which again typically get scored in and around 5-10 metres out from touch. She's had the wind to contend with. She's been kicking into it in that first half, so it hasn't been easy out there, but she's kicked brilliantly.
Good take on the run, and Ireland breaking up field with Clenahan. All too easy for the Irish from that restart.
So knock on into touch.
Scotland are going to be led off.
Scrum or line?
Well, they really need Poppy Mellenby back on quickly to take them back up to 14, Scotland.
You really don't want to be defending two players down in that back line against this Irish side who can pull the strings and put it anywhere.
Coming onto the pitch for Scotland, number 17, Louise Tapperell.
So Tapperell is back. Scotland go back up to 14.
You happy there's still 14, Neve, yes? We'll just check it's all okay and then we'll turn time on, okay?
So a quick head count from the referees and their assistants.
Sorry? They're sorting it for us.
As the forwards are trying to sort themselves out, you can see Mellenby's back on the pitch, but she's almost half coming back on now.
15's back on, one's off.
But she's going to slot into that midfield position, and Scotland need to put someone out wide, even if it's just to draw the attention of the Irish.
Time on.
Make O'Connor think twice about coming up into that space, just to give them a bit of width.
They need the ball firstly, Scotland, and they can't find it
First one's back, second one's
from
forward.
that line out. They'll have a scrum. That should be a much
Thank you very
more
much.
secure source of possession. Scrum has
Yes.
been a faithful servant to Scotland so far in this competition. A little bit of heat on here,
Ball is there.
and the Irish have turned it into something much more than that. One against the head
Step.
for Ireland's pack
Step.
over Scotland. Brilliant result. Now O'Sullivan, Sexton and Finn sent space over to the left-hand side. Lucia Lynn evades the tacklers as she goes
Turnover's
back
good,
against
we'll bring it back.
the Scottish
3.
defenders.
3.
One against the head. This second half so far for Scotland has been the opposite of what we saw 6 days ago when they came out of the blocks and really took the game to Wales.
Ireland had advantage there, but I think Emily Cooper has been fantastic in that number 8 shirt for Scotland. She's attacked the breakdown, she's stripped, really caused some problems in that contact area for the Irish.
Blue 17. Time on. Don't come in. You're not in. Maul!
Saoirse Crowe finds her mark right from the off. Good introduction for the replacement hooker. And this is dinked over. Lynn was
Always
the
in.
target. Scotland and Holly McIntyre watching it. Mellenby back on, stops and goes, and gets out of the first tackle.
Step. Wait.
There's McIntyre. This is bouncing around for Lynn, and it's in her hands, Lynn. She's over the line, but
It's a knock on.
there was a knock on moments earlier.
Sorry. Sorry. I know, sorry. Yeah. Just stay
It's a
square,
difficult
pressure.
kicking angle for a right footer there.
Feet underneath you.
McRae under a lot of pressure. Because she's right-footed, her kicking foot is closer to that defence, which allows them to come and put more pressure. If she's kicking from left to right up the pitch, it's further away, so it just allows her a little bit more time. But in that example, just really tough kick.
Bind! Set! Stay high! Wait.
Better scrum from Scotland, but they still are going backwards from it. The knock on again, and this could be trouble
Number.
in the shape of cards.
Back line, offside.
But they'll take the first offence, which was offside. Ireland keep coming though. Good chance. Clark. Finn. And there's the line again. And the score comes with it. Just off the bench is Tara O'Neill. And she scores Ireland another. This is proving to be a wonderful finish to the summer series for Ireland. The points keep on adding up.
Ireland have had a lovely balance to their play when they've got in and around the Scottish try line. They've shown that they can go through their forwards and score tries that way. But it's just the speed of ball that Ireland get. One person clearing out. And Tara O'Neill, brilliant line. A couple of times the Irish have gone right to the edge, but she just squares the line, catches the inside shoulder of that Scottish defence, and then has the leg drive and wherewithal to find that try line. Great finish.
Katrina Finn, first shot on goal, but just away to the right-hand side. Ireland leading Scotland 38 points to 7, on course for another win over Scotland at the Women's Six Nations Summer Series.
9 sub.
Well, at last year's competition, it was a similar scoreline by which Ireland won against Scotland, 37-7, 1 year ago in Palma. They've gone 1 point better than that so far this afternoon. Scotland with 20 minutes to try and change at least the way this match ends. The outcome may be beyond that, but they can end this last quarter of the match of their summer series in the style they want to. But they've got to get to grips with the Irish, and they're on the front foot once more. Interlinking nicely with the forwards and the backs, and Lucia Lynn again. Katrina Finn, lovely pass to the intended O'Connor.
It's a knock on only into touch option. Scrum on line. Right now. It's okay.
Lucia Lynn has worked so hard today, like every involvement. It's her speed of reload back into the attack to look for a second touch or another involvement. Like, she never stays on the floor too long or in that breakdown. She's never looking for that rest period. She wants to get back in the game, and just watch her off the ball. She's fantastic.
Wait.
Foley coming in at scrum half now. Finn has got this to Lynn, and Lynn sets Katie Corrigan off on a chase downfield.
Blue retreat.
Scotland bring it back into play, and this could be dangerous for the Scots. Finn finds O'Connor. O'Connor's on a one-on-one right on the edge here, and she sets her sights on the try line, and it's the speed which delivers. Again on the left wing, O'Connor crosses. She's threatened multiple times, and this time she runs it all the way to the house.
Lovely ball out there by Katrina Finn, spots the space. Sophie Price has such a tough job to do. She finds herself on the edge of the line with no back three around her to cover. And O'Connor seizes her opportunity. I think when she's had the ball, she's created something for this Irish team, both in this round and the others when she's started or come off of the bench, and helps her kick her out by getting close to the post, which is always appreciated.
And this time Finn goes to the other side of the post, so the radar not quite set for Katrina Finn, but she's creatively orchestrating things well for this Ireland team with ball in hand. This was her pass to O'Connor.
And that's the thing as a winger you want. Sometimes you want your inside players to engage that line. Sometimes you just want the ball early in space to be able to go and take someone on.
This goes 10 metres, nicely taken by Scotland. They're then sacked to the floor. O'Connor gets her hands on it. Holly McIntyre, who collected that and is then now injured.
Okay. Time off.
And she'll receive some help as well after that turnover. She was thrown to the floor and then the ball spilt forwards.
7. Let's just remember what we spoke about in the changing room pre-game about that taking beyond.
It's a lovely changing kick-off though from this Scottish. You see that they've gone long left quite a few times, but at this stage of the game you want the ball back, you need possession, you want to play, so you have to pepper that 10 metre line and get someone to go after it. So lovely way to kick into that space, and it was a great take by McIntyre. Hopefully she'll be able to continue this game, but exactly what Scotland need. They just now need to build on it they've still got 50 minutes to play. Like you said throughout this game, it's the last chance that this group get to play. Some will move on, some will then form the next group, but they need to finish this year strong, and it's about what you do with your teammates in and around you. I think all the teams that I've played in, you want to play for each other, especially a group that you know is going to move on and change. And it's about setting your stall out, one, to build a platform for next year, but also to just enjoy the moments you have as a group. They've been in camp for the last couple of weeks. You want to be able to enjoy it and finish on a high. In Scotland, although they're down on the scoreboard now, they still have 50 minutes to have an impact on this game.
What's the under-20s environment like for the players,
7 and 15,
Amber? Because you're wearing the national shirt. There's that pressure. Of course, the environment is designed to be about improvement, but sometimes only later in a career can you really enjoy the moments once you've got a bit more maturity, a few more caps under your belt. When you're under 20s, there's the fear, I suppose, the worry that
Who's your captain now?
what you want to happen as a senior may never happen. This could be a one-chance thing if you don't get it right. It must be quite a strange environment. Difficult to relax into it and just enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think as a product of the environment you create, the coach can have a massive impact on how the players feel in that environment. If you're someone who likes to shout and scream and pick up loads of errors, then that's going to create that fear. If you're someone who instills that culture where players are challenged and can learn, obviously you still want that high performance, but at this level, for players to develop, if you don't fail, that learning doesn't necessarily happen. You can learn from positives, but I think sometimes learning from failure has a lot more of an impact. So for the coaches, it's that getting that environment and that culture right. And yeah, like you say, for the players, some of these girls have huge aspirations to go on and play senior level. They see this as a massive opportunity, and they can have a lot of pressure. So yeah, I think later on in my career I did learn to enjoy it more, and I just wish that I learnt it way sooner.
Well, good to see Holly McIntyre in the meantime back up and making her own way to the sidelines after that contact. Scored a try against England, Holly McIntyre. Now, isn't that something to take home with you after this summer series?
Change for the injury. Did someone come on for the injury?
Ends on a down note for Holly McIntyre, but that will always be a treasure from this summer for her. Amber, who's someone you can tell us who you met as an under-20, you met for the first time in the under-20s, you played together, and then that was the start of a long friendship or a long combination with someone on the field maybe? Is there anyone there that rings a bell?
I was really lucky to play in a pretty special under-20s group. A lot of players went on to go get capped, but I think the player that really sticks out for me is Al Matthews, someone that I can call a friend, and we had lots of years together playing for England, and I still get to watch her now run out for the Red Roses. So yeah, definitely enjoy playing with Al Matthews and feel very fortunate that she's a world-class player that we got to play together for so many years as well.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Stay high!
Foley to Finn, and now to Lynn, who almost stole through a gap there, but it went backwards, so we can play on here. Clara Dunn works the hands free. Now we see Katie Corrigan with ball in hand and the power that she can bring to things, bowling Scottish players over. Lynn sees a gap again, goes straight. Speed of ball is enough for Ireland to play off this, and Adams Verling pumps the legs and still hasn't gone forward. Had that gone to hand, Ireland would be trotting in by now. They'll have to go again. Good tackle on Sophie Barrett. Hard player to stop when she gets a head of steam up. Tara O'Neill likewise. And Scotland have quelled that attack from Ireland. It was a good one. It was the kind of one that you'd expect to see finishing in Ireland crossing the whitewash.
We've not been able to see Corrigan in full flight yet. We saw a challenge for a couple of kicks in that first half, but she's got some pace and she's physical and abrasive at the line as well. Lovely little no-look pass in the middle of all that from Finn that was put down, but she was looking at the back, played the short runner. Lovely bit of subtlety.
Knock on from Rebecca Douglas at the base of the scrum. How unfortunate. It was enough of a nudge from the Irish 8 to get Scotland going backwards, and that would have made that ball difficult, very difficult to pick up. Let's have a look here. Just creaking enough.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Stay high.
Foley steps off, Adams, Verling, then Finn, and O'Connor hits the gas and races home. Brilliantly constructed and finished off nicely from O'Connor, her second try. She is blisteringly quick.
My pick of the Irish tries so far. Adams Verling does enough to just pull in that Scottish back row. And then Ireland playing right to that line. Using O'Neill as that short runner, playing out the back to Finn, coming from behind the scrum. You just see her slide out the back of O'Neill, and then O'Connor working hard off her wing just to offer that little outside shoulder lift. Well worked try.
Finn has had little luck from the tee, but she's getting closer. That one clattering into the post. It's not quite her day from the tee, but it very much is in the decision-making role of 10. She's making all the right calls at the moment.
Go when you're in. Oh, hold it there. Seven's already off. Oh, 7? Sub. 7.
Ireland's Jane Neal gets the applause of the Irish fans in Ústí Mnac. What a 3 matches that she's put together, and if that is the last time we see her, it's been some summer, some 3 weeks from Jane Neal, the Irish captain, right from the very first moment in the first match when physically she set the tone for Ireland in a furious opening 20 minutes against the Welsh, which they ended up winning. She has been a brilliant performer. Replaced by Rosie Searle, who's back on, and Scotland looking to enjoy these last 10 minutes here. Ainsworth. Douglas. Holly Wilson doing her best to ensure this ball comes back.
Play the ball.
Sophie Price.
Release. Advantage number, sorry.
Ainsworth with the chip over. O'Connor sensed that was coming.
17 high. Green high tackle.
Poppy Fletcher not holding back and timing that run really well. Ainsworth, Mellon B does well not to knock it on actually. And Scotland do well to keep the ball.
There, don't hold her in.
Ainsworth keeping it alive, just getting it and doing everything to avoid contact on that gain line from the Irish. They came up very quickly. Ainsworth gets away, lovely feet from Katie Ainsworth. The pass is good too.
Off the leg.
Karis Craig, who tried to keep that alive and was the right option, just couldn't find a runner. And that allows Ireland to go to work themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Finn, long rangy kicker, and she has put that a good 65 metres. Mellenby, good draw and give, taken out whilst kicking. O'Connor doesn't take it cleanly.
50-22's on.
Finn again. Lisa Brown. McCall. Couple of big Irish forwards stopping the way for Freya McCall. One of those Irish forwards actually was Robin O'Connor, but such was the force she went into the contact with, it had that effect.
Okay. Time off.
So Amber, we should discuss player of the match for Ireland against Scotland, and
I
who
understand
makes your
you
shortlist?
got the penalty. If there's anything more, we'll always try.
Emily Kubra, mentioned her. I think in terms of at the back of that Scottish scrum, we'll see the front row doing all the work, but she's had to control the ball there. In the contact, she's had a couple of turnovers, worked really hard. Poppy Mellenby again has had another good game, but I think in terms of the Irish players, Ellen O'Sullivan-Sexton, phenomenal off the tee, really controlled the game and worked hard, but I think this woman has had a fantastic 3 games. She's led her team well. Couple of tries today. My player of the match is Jane
Time is
Neal.
off just whilst we get the replacement. Time on.
Well, there is an MVP award which the players in each team will vote
the edge,
for
please.
after the competition has
Take the
concluded,
edge.
so that'll be announced in the coming days. And each team, each player group votes for their own MVP. And one would imagine that Jane Neal may be getting a healthy dose of the votes in that one, shall we say. But each team will vote for their own, and keep an eye out on social media for who takes those accolades. But Jane Neal today, the player of the match, was selected by Amber Reid. And the
Roll
Irish,
now! Yeah, don't
with
hold
the
her in
ambition
then.
and the intention to end with more points here. And O'Connor coming in, Dunn, lovely pass to Dunn, and away goes Corrigan. And she's hauled down just about and brilliantly by Mellenby. Sally Kelly. And then Crow.
Ball is out.
Ball pops out, it's quickly onto by Golding. O'Sullivan Sexton. Then into the hands of Searle.
Roll!
And they're making steady progress, the Irish here. Saoirse Crowe, Ireland are over again. It's the slip pass into Ava O'Flynn's hands. And O'Flynn gets the score, which takes Ireland beyond 50. And they are charging towards their second win out of 3 in this summer series.
Yeah, again, it's the forwards putting in the hard work. Saoirse Crowe's had a couple of good carries. She started to move back on her own halfway line and just dominates this collision here, which allows her to just pop over the top of that tackler, free her arms, and then Ava Flynn on her shoulder. And a good finish. I think that's the power of the Irish that they've shown over these 3 games.
Fourth time lucky for Katrina Finn, this time straight through to take all 7. Ainsworth's kick-off. And the Irish reply, purposeful. Kelly on the charge. Great run from the replacement back rower. Dunn. That drifted forward in the air, but didn't come out of the hands forward, so Ireland can play. Barrett. Finn. They really are in great condition towards the end of this match, Ireland.
Still nothing's coming. We'll take the first knock on. Header up, please.
It's not easy to deliver an 80-minute performance, Amber, but this feels close to that from Ireland. There's not been many occasions where they've been second best, maybe towards the end of the first half.
Yeah, maybe that slight dip after 30 minutes into the half time, but I think it's credit to the depth that they've got in their squad. You can obviously start strong. You've got a 15 that have most of the training time together to find that cohesion, but all credit to the Irish bench that have come on. No matter what combination's been out there, they have looked relentless, and they've had variety in their play. So yeah, fantastic team performance.
Bind. Set.
Douglas misses the chance to get it out, but Ireland's at fault. So Douglas goes quickly. Ainsworth. O'Connor well positioned, as she has been so often, and then she starts to move, and when she gets going, she is lightning. Robin O'Connor in a foot race towards the line. On a hat-trick, remember, she's hauled down. Katrina Finn picks and goes, lifts it infield in the hope someone's there, but she was in touch.
What a break. I think, again, Katie Ainsworth, the Scottish didn't need to kick that ball away. You've got 2 minutes left to play, finished strong with ball in hand, but Robin O'Connor initially looked to kick to return and then head up, finds the gap. Lisa Brown with a great cover tackle, but O'Connor looks so dangerous.
It just goes to the floor here. Ireland can play this and they're over again. They steal this one at the back of the line out. Absolutely no right to turn that into a 5-pointer after the line out went wrong. But when it goes your way, scorelines end up looking like this, and tries are scored, even from those kind of initial mistakes. They made the most of the opportunity, that's for sure.
That's what good sides do. They make the most of the opportunity. Sometimes you manufacture them yourself, and sometimes they come from errors from the opposition, but however it presents itself, you've got to make the most of it, and I think the Irish have probably been one of the best sides to do that in this summer series.
Sasha Crowe with the try. Katrina Finn eyes it up. Well, she's right in the groove now. And Ireland completes their summer series on the highest of notes against Scotland. The referee calls a halt to proceedings, and really Ireland were only going to add to their score. Scotland's resistance was broken by the end. What a performance from this Irish team. They win 2 matches out of their 3, improving from last year where they beat Scotland for their only victory. They really have got better and better. And Amber, what's been most impressive for you, the collective way they have come together, or the number of individuals that have great promise in this team? And of course we can have both those things as well.
I think it's the collective way that they've come together in each of their games. They've had a couple of players. Jane Neal, I think, has been fantastic throughout. Robin O'Connor's had her moments of brilliance, but there are multiple members of this team who have shone, and I think that's the sign of a good team. It allows individuals to flourish, but it's been the number of individuals that have been able to be supported by the collective coming together, and each game they've proved that it's not just 1 to 15, it's 1 to 23, and the impact those bench players have had on the performance of their team, again, like you say, has grown week on week.
It ends in Ustrad Minnock, 62 points to 7 for Ireland over Scotland. So let's track back to the very beginning. This was the way Jane Neal started her afternoon. Atagarman, the score of the second try, the short throw as well from Maeve Clenaghan. Scotland's only score of the afternoon came from the familiar Freya McColl, familiar with the try line during this summer series. Her third score in just the 2 matches she's played. But Foley was the next scorer for Ireland, and from here on in it was all Ireland scorers. Forwards really got in on the act as well when Scotland had players in the sin bin up front. They capitalised Barrett off the bench to cross. Jane Neal from close range went over again. And Amber, when things open up, they were very impressive, the Irish, weren't they?
Yeah, and I think their error count was quite minimal. When they got onto a rumble, it wasn't just the momentum in their attack that they were building, it was their error count was low. And then obviously when you've got someone of Robin O'Connor's pace who can do this and get your team on the front foot, it's really going to help. And it was a couple of Irish scores that came quickly. I think as a back, I love to see a set-piece try, and this was well worked. Again, O'Connor going through untouched on that occasion. But I think it was the number of different ways that the Irish scored as well also epitomised their performance. They played through the set piece in terms of forwards and backs. They can play in the close quarters like here, dominating the collision and then the little offload pass. And then for me, this kind of sums up how clinical that they've been throughout this tournament. They get half a sniff at an opportunity off an opposition error and they convert that into points.
It ends with this scoreline for Ireland, 62 points to 7 over Scotland. So our next match is coming up shortly. It'll be Wales against Italy. If you're joining for that one, that's 3:30 kickoff. So you're in exactly the right pace. So we'll be back shortly with the second match of the day on the final day of the Under-20s Summer Series in Østlandet. We'll see you then.